Have you ever thought about going on the road full-time and living in an RV? In this video, we're going to tell you how easy it is as long as you know what you're getting yourself into.
And chances are, if you're doing research and you're watching this video, you're already starting your research because you've already piqued your interest on going full-time RVing or living the full-time life.
And what we're going to do is we're going to actually share our experience of how we ditched the sticks and bricks and all our household furniture for a home on wheels.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. And if you're new to our channel, I'm Kevin.
I'm Dan.
And together we're Compass Roadz, and we talk about everything that has to do with full-time living or RV full-time living. Exactly. The nomadic lifestyle.
Yep. We're two retired military vets, and we decided to ditch sticks and bricks and live full-time on a home with wheels.
We're not going to go into too much of that because if you want to know more about who we are and what we're about, you can see our first video. And we'll link it somewhere in here. I don't know. He's a mastermind behind that, and we'll make sure we get that in there. But anyways, before we entertain the serious notion of full-time RV life, we actually did a lot of research. I started research way back, I would say 2013, but it wasn't even RV life at that time. It was more about just minimal living and downsizing. I wanted to live in a tiny home.
And tiny homes, yes. We did watch a lot of tiny home shows.
But that actually led us to watching some of the YouTube channels that you may be familiar with right now. And some of the first ones that we actually started watching was, I would say, Pandemonium, Nomadic Fanatic,
Let's Junk More Journey,
Keep Your Daydream, or You, Me, and the RV with Phil and Stacy. And there's a few other ones that we watch, and right now we're kind of on the spot, so I'm sorry if I don't get everybody in there right now. Those channels are the ones that motivated us. What we did, so how it all went down, we did our research, but we didn't really know what type of RV we wanted to live in, whether we wanted to be a Class A, B, C, whatever the case may be, travel trailer, we didn't really know. So what we did do was went out on several weekends while we were still living in San Antonio and went to as many RV dealerships as we could and looked at a different layout, different types of RVs and the layouts that they had in them.
And still didn't really know exactly what our requirements were, like if we needed a truck to pull something. At that time, we each had our own vehicles and nothing would tow a large trailer. So that's kind of why we leaned towards a Class A. And
it ultimately led us to Craigslist, where we found a used Class A that was within our price range because we didn't want to go into financial debt more than what we already had at that time. We had a lot of financial debt that we were trying to at least dwindle down some. So we did have a little bit of cash saved up. So we found a Class A, and it was in Lockhart, Texas.
And it was a little fixer-upper.
It was a little fixer-upper. We put some new paint, new window treatments. We found people on Craigslist as well that could sew, because neither one of us could do that. And we ended up making a pretty good Class A that we ended up selling down the road. It was a 2000 Southwind. We called her Southwind Sally.
She had her own flag and she had her own coasters.
It had strong bones. It was a good RV. It didn't have all the amenities like the new ones did. But it was good. But it gave us, it was a good RV, but what it actually helped us is to figure out if we were liking the lifestyle or not. Maybe you don't want to necessarily go purchase an RV right away, whether it be used or not, if you have the money. I would say probably, and like plenty of the other RVers would tell you, if you're new to RV and you've never RV'd before, I know a lot of families, you know, I growing up didn't RV. Did you all RV?
We had a travel trailer, but it was just camping.
Yeah, we did tent camping, or what they call primitive camping. That's how I grew up. We didn't really do the RV thing. So we didn't really know if we were gonna like it. So dropping a lot of money on a brand new RV for something we didn't know if we were gonna like or not, you know, it just wasn't something we wanted to do. But yet it was after we already purchased Sally that we actually thought about maybe we should have rented. But it turned out for the best anyway, because we loved the RV lifestyle, because that was in August of 2017, and here we are in October of 2020, and we're in our second, soon to be third RV.
And what was really nice is the way we transitioned, we were kind of uncertain if we wanted to do it full time and for how long we wanted to do it. So we purchased the RV in August of 2017, and then on weekends we would go spend time in it at state parks near where the RV was parked, and we liked it. We did some work on it, got to experiment with some problems, you know, water problems that we had, but we got those fixed. And then we decided we want to try it full time before we actually left the San Antonio area. And so we had 4 months that we actually could live in it full time before we PCS to decide if this is the way we wanted to do the rest of our lives, or at least for the next, you know, decade or so, whatever time frame that we do want to do. So at that time, we decided, let's use this opportunity now that we've moved into an RV to get rid of a lot of the furniture that we had. And so we had a lot of garage sales.
But like Dan said, we did take it out on the weekends. I had a demanding job at that time. I was working 6 days a week with the military. So it was kind of hard for us to actually go out for, you know, extended periods. But every now and again, I could get 2 days in a row off. So we would go out on those weekends. So I did have an upcoming PCS. So we used that time to really get into the nuts and bolts of how we were actually going to RV. But let's rewind a little bit, because you were talking about selling the furniture. Selling our furniture, and some of it, we did keep some things, like some of the brand new furniture we kept, like the coffee table, or not the coffee table, but the kitchen table we kept. The entertainment unit we kept, because we knew eventually, or the fact that if we didn't even like what we were what we were doing, we didn't have to start completely over from scratch.
Okay, so some of the things that you need to consider when purchasing an RV is deciding what type of RV you're looking for. You've got your Class A, B, C, fifth wheel, tow behind. You could do van life or even car life, but we're going to eliminate those two. We went through a lot of dealerships, like we said earlier, to go through and take tours to see what kind of floor plan that we liked. We also went to a RV show. The
San Antonio RV show. It's usually around January timeframe. They always do it at the beginning of the year. We missed the year prior, but in 2018 we went? I think it was after we already purchased ours, but we wanted to go to it anyway, just to get, we knew the Class A that we bought was not going to be our one and only. And if you've watched any videos, you automatically know that you don't know what you don't know. So you just take a leap and you go. And that if somebody's on the fence right now, if you're watching this video, maybe that's what you have to take a leap.
The important takeaway is there is no perfect RV, and you need to get out and start, even if it's the wrong RV to start off with. But what we liked about the RV that we did purchase was the floor plan, because we had 2 slides in it. But the nice thing about our RV compared to other ones that we've seen is, even with the slides in, we could access pretty much everything in the entire RV, and that made a big difference.
You could access everything. You could open up the refrigerator. You can make it to the latrine, bathroom, restroom, whatever you may call it. You could even make it all the way to the bedroom. The bedroom slide, though, did bring the bed all the way in, so to get to the other side where the closet was at, because the closet was in the back, you would have to climb over the bed, but it made it easier for travel. But I think everywhere we stopped, we kicked them out anyway. They wasn't huge slides. There wasn't huge slides at all.
But it was good, like if we stopped at a rest area, you know, we didn't have to take out the slides to go in and make a sandwich or something.
Oh no, and it was great. It was fun. It was a fun trip. I really did like it, and she's moved on to her new home, and I don't remember their names, but I remember we actually sold that RV, but it was after we already purchased our second one,
right?
Which we absolutely love, because of that first RV, it put us in the position to where we knew that we wanted to live this lifestyle. We knew that after I retired from the military that we were going to continue this lifestyle of full-time travel in the RV to see as much of America as we possibly can.
And as you start doing that, you kind of learn a pattern of travel that you want to do with it. So that makes a big difference as well. Are you going to be sedentary for a long period of time, or are you actually going to be on the move, and what frequency you're going to actually have to pack up and have different travel days?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different travel styles, and you'll eventually find the one. People will tell you, no, you need to do this, or no, you need to do that. Eventually, you're going to take those recommendations, because you absolutely don't know what type of travel that you want to do, what your travel style is going to be. Do you want to do long trips where you're doing, 6 to 8 hour, you know, hauls until you stop, or you gonna do smaller trips. We chose to do smaller, you know, 3 to 4 hour driving, and not trying to get into parks or wherever you're going to be at night, because it's nothing's worse than trying to set up at night and you can't see anything. That's when accidents most likely will happen, where you're going to back into things, and let me tell you, accidents will happen.
And we're going to have a video on travel days and how we kind of save money, you know, traveling on the road. But if you are serious about RVing and you have never done so in the past, I do encourage you to go and try to find an RV show where they do have classes there that you can take, different seminars to help you understand the ins and outs of RVing. You do get an opportunity to go through all the brand new RVs of all types, but I do give you a word of caution. You don't need to buy brand new, especially if you're uncertain that this may not be the life for you.
Speaking of which, because of that, there was a gentleman where we were going to buy an RV. So we're in our second RV, which is a fifth wheel, and we were looking at one because this gentleman put it up for sale. It was the model that we wanted. It had the new interior, which was it was going to be a 2020. No, that one, yeah, it was.
It was 2020.
It was a 2020 Grand Design Reflection 303 RLS and RLS. Make sure I enunciate that right. RLS. The older gentleman that had it, him and his wife bought it. They were gonna, I don't think they were gonna travel full time, but they were gonna get out there, you know, and travel a little bit. But unfortunately, he ended up hurting himself and he had to sell it. But wait, some of you may be saying, well, I thought you were telling us not to buy brand new. Well, yes and no. If you have the money to buy brand new, and that's what you want, or if you even want to finance it, who are we to tell you what to do with your money or your credit?
And that's another good point. You know, for first-time RVers that are trying to drag a trailer around, you may not want to buy brand new because you may put a few dents and little fender benders on it, you know, while you're trying to break it in.
So I have driven some trailers which was smaller for my SUV, for my four-wheeler that I have currently. So I have driven smaller trailers. Dan has driven the bigger 40-something foot long tractor trailers because he used to have a CDL, and for his job in the Air Force, he actually had to drive a tractor trailer with a long, you know, 40-foot flatbed. So he has some experience, more experience than I did. So if you end up getting a fifth wheel or a tow behind travel trailer, that's something you also need to be aware of. It's not like backing up a car, it's almost opposite. And there's plenty of videos out there, and we may end up making one about that as well, about the easier way that we find for us to back up the trailer, where your hand should be and how you need to do all that stuff. But that'll be a different one. But I would start small and work your way up. If you know somebody has a small, like a little Lowe's trailer that they travel with, or a little, you know, ATV trailer, I would get some practice towing that, because
get used to backing up. Yeah.
One
other thing is, people may be reluctant to buy a used RV because they think, oh, there's going to be so many problems with it. But that doesn't mean you're not going to have any problems with a brand new trailer. In fact,
actually, yeah, you're probably getting ready to say what I was going to say. In fact, a used one is probably going to have less. It doesn't mean it's automatically going to have less, because somebody could be trying to offload their lemon. But most of the time, if you go to look at a new or a used RV and it looks like it's been taken care of, but you can tell it's been used, chances are that family, that individual, whoever is selling that, has already went through all the warranty work and worked out some kinks. Does that mean there's not going to be any more issues with it? Absolutely not. There's always going to be issues, and you need to know that going in, because pretty much every time you tow your RV, it's an earthquake. Your house is going through an earthquake every time you tow it.
And that doesn't matter which RV it is, whether it's Class A, B, C, fifth wheel, or tow behind. It doesn't matter. All trailers are going to have a problem.
So when you finally decide the RV that you're willing to take your first leap on, you know, you may already have it, you may already know somebody else that has it, and you know the individual pretty well, and you don't think anything is going to be wrong with it. I would definitely say, but if you're going anywhere else, especially if it's used, one of the things that I will not purchase an RV if the individual is not willing to hook it up to power, so I can see it with the slides open. I can operate the slides. It needs to have water in the fresh water tank, and it needs to have the city water hooked up, because you need to make sure all those, if they're going to charge you for a working RV, you need to make sure it is working. That doesn't mean that if something is wrong that you don't buy it, but that'll help you in your bargaining price as well. And the reason why I want water in the tank is because I want to make sure that that water pump is working. And then as well as having it hooked to city water to make sure that everything's going to work and there's no leaks, and then go turn on all your faucets.
Let's say you're still on the fence, you don't know if you want to invest in a used RV or not because you're uncertain of the RV life. What are other options you can do?
Well, you can rent an RV and take it out for a weekend.
Yeah, and I suggest you do that because there are several companies that do that, and that's the perfect way.
So real quick, while we have you, we're trying to grow our channel, so if you wouldn't mind, as you continue to watch, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that little bell icon so you can get notified each and every time we post a new video.
Have you ever...
No. Well, in this video, we're going to show you, actually, we're going to tell you, so we're going to go back and do that all over again. Yeah, all right, got it. Got it.
I got a bald spot.
No, you don't have a bald spot.
You sure?
Yeah.
Look at that. Receding, like,
Okay.
right there and right here.
All right, we're losing sun.
Right there.
Receding.
ready?
Receding. All right. Oh, crap. We were recording?
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to go in the outtakes.
Have you ever thought about going on the road living full-time in an RV?
What do you want me to say after that? What am I supposed to say?
Have you ever thought about going full-time in an RV? Ah, shit.
RV, blah, 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 blah. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. And if you're new to this channel,
Wait.
I'm... What?
Plane.
Who cares?
It's gonna...
You slowed my roll and I was
know.
feeding it.
I know,
Good. I was loving the camera was loving me, right? Right.
but keep it going.
It never fails, there's always something.